The storm had passed 3 days ago, but Darren Holt still found debris scattered across his wheat fields. He was a simple farmer on the frontier colony of Tertius 9, where human settlements clung to existence like moss on stone. The planet was harsh, the soil unforgiving, but Darren had made it work through sheer stubbornness, a trait his late father had called the human curse. He was clearing fallen branches near the eastern ridge when he saw it. A massive shape covered by what looked like a tattered blanket, half buried in the mud. The fabric shimmered with an iridescent quality that seemed wrong for this world. Darren approached cautiously, his pulse quickening. The shape beneath was enormous, easily 20 feet long. As he drew closer, he heard it, a voice deep and resonant speaking in perfect standard. "Human, if you have any mercy in your primitive heart, just kill me." Darren froze. The voice came from beneath the blanket, weak but commanding. He'd heard stories about the Draketh, the dragons that ruled the 7 core systems with absolute authority. They were legends, beings of immense power who viewed humanity as little more than useful vermin, fit only for labor and service. "Who? What are you?" Darren asked, his hand moving instinctively to the plasma cutter on his belt. "I am Valeth, 3rd Commander of the Imperial Fleet, and I am dying." A pause, then a sound that might have been bitter laughter. "I am also something that should not exist. Please, human, end this quickly." Darren's fingers trembled on the edge of the blanket. Every instinct screamed at him to run, to call the colonial authorities. But curiosity, another human curse, won out. He gripped the fabric and pulled. The blanket fell away, and Darren staggered backward in horror. Valeth was indeed a dragon, scales of deep crimson and gold, wings that would span 40 feet if unfolded, claws that could rend steel. But that wasn't what made Darren's blood run cold. The dragon was pregnant, impossibly, horrifically pregnant. Her swollen abdomen was covered in cracks, golden light seeping through like magma through broken earth. The scales around her midsection had begun to separate, and Darren could see something moving beneath, something that pulsed with an otherworldly glow. "Now you understand," Valeth whispered, her great head lifting slightly. Her eyes, vertical slits of molten amber, fixed on him with an intensity that made him feel transparent. "Now you see why I must die." "I don't understand anything," Darren breathed. "Dragons don't... We don't reproduce this way. We are cloned, cultivated, designed by the architects who created us millennia ago. Biological reproduction was engineered out of us." Her voice cracked with pain. "Until now. Until me." Darren's mind raced. He knew the official history. Dragons were the perfect soldiers, the ultimate enforcers created by a long-dead civilization to maintain order. They couldn't breed, couldn't evolve, couldn't change. That's what made them controllable, predictable. "How?" he asked, kneeling beside her despite his terror. "A mutation, a flaw, a miracle. Call it what you will." Valeth's breathing was labored. 3 months ago, I began to change. The Imperial physicians discovered what was happening. They were going to dissect me, study me, destroy whatever is inside me before it could be born. I fled. I crashed here during the storm. "Why do you want to die?" Valeth's laugh was hollow. "Because if this thing inside me lives, everything changes. The Empire will hunt it. They will hunt every dragon, looking for others like me. Millions will die, dragon and human alike, to preserve the old order. Better that I end here, taking this abomination with me." Darren stared at her, then at the life moving within her broken scales. His mind drifted to his own story, his parents fleeing Earth after refusing forced sterilization during the population crisis, settling on this harsh world so their children could exist. Humanity had once tried to control its own reproduction and nearly destroyed itself in the process. "No," he said quietly. "What?" "I said no." Darren stood, his fear crystallizing into resolve. "You're not an abomination, and neither is your child. You don't understand what you're—" "I understand perfectly." Darren's voice was steel. "I understand that every power structure in history has been terrified of uncontrolled reproduction, because it means they can't predict the future. They can't control it. You're not broken, Commander. You're evolving." Valeth stared at him, something shifting in her ancient eyes. "The Empire will kill you for helping me." "Probably." Darren was already pulling out his communicator. "But that's the thing about us humans, Commander. We're really, really good at surviving things that should kill us. And we're even better at helping things be born that others want dead. He keyed in a frequency he'd sworn never to use. The Underground Railroad, they called it. The network of human colonies that sheltered refugees from every species. No questions asked. This is Darren Holt, Tertius 9. I've got a mother in labor and she needs immediate medical assistance. Hostile forces likely inbound. Requesting full sanctuary protocols. The response was immediate. Sanctuary granted. Hold position. Help is coming. Valeth's eyes widened. Why? Why would you risk everything for me? My kind has enslaved yours for generations. Darren knelt beside her again, placing a weathered hand gently on her massive claw. Because every generation has a choice, Commander. They can enforce the old patterns or create new ones. And because I've learned something in my 40 years of growing things in impossible soil. What's that? Life finds a way. It always does. And humans? He smiled grimly. We've made an art form out of helping it along. As the first medical ship breached the atmosphere above them, Valeth felt the life inside her shift and surge. For the first time in 3 months, she didn't see it as a death sentence. She saw it as a beginning. And the human beside her, this simple, stubborn farmer, smiled as if he'd just planted the most important seed of his life.